Okay, I'm back. All right. Whew, I have the cramps. The cramps, can you believe it? Like, I forgot what it felt like to have a period after almost 10 years. It's crazy. Like, I'm having a little bit the cramps in the back. I never had the cramps really, but I think this is, the first time after things haven't been, I unbuttoned my button because it was a little puffy. But after I started, like the last week or so, I'm like, oh, things are starting to get tender. And I had that in the beginning. Let me just stop for a second because you may not know what the heck I'm talking about. This is the part two to I can't believe it, I'm getting ready to have my period for the first time since 2017, being on bioidentical hormones, and I have now switched to the rhythmic dosing. Okay, let's take a deep breath. I swear, you know what it feels like? I feel like I'm a teenager. I am so, like that tiredness, it's like so sleepy, like I've taken a sleeping pill, like I just want to, but like a good sleepy pill. That's what this, new first period after almost 10 years is feeling like. But let's get back to business. So where we last left off, I had said yes to my bioidentical doctor, who I absolutely love, Dr. Valerie. She's amazing. I've been with her since my entire journey, since 2014-ish. And she's been with me the whole time. And so she says, we're going to start you on, suggesting we're going to start the rhythmic dosing. She herself had been doing it for close to a year. She'd been trying it on herself, and she saw the great improvements. So I said, yes, I'm in. So we call our Harbor Compounding Pharmacy is who I get all of my hormones from. And so they set up a meeting. She called in my prescriptions. I'd had my blood work done. And so the pharmacist called and said, we want to have a consultation with you to go over everything with your new hormone protocol. Now, remember, with static dosing, it's pretty simple. Static dosing, I had estrogen, I have an estradiol, 2 different types, a testosterone, progesterone I take pregnenolone, and I take a T3, T4, and a DHEA cream, like 3 times a week. But that's a static dose. You know how much to take it. You do the clicks. You take the capsules in the evening or in the morning if it's for your thyroid, or for your progesterone for your nighttime to kind of relax you for sleep. But this rhythmic dosing is a whole new ballgame. Now, it is not for the weak in the stance of the biggest pain in the butt is this. It comes with a calendar. So the pharmacist calls me and says, okay, we're going to go over this. And at first it sounds overwhelming because at first it is overwhelming. You keep this calendar. There's a calendar. There's actually 2 different types. There's the lunar calendar, and then there's the personal calendar. And I do the personal calendar. I'm trying to remember. The lunar calendar is, I think, if you're following the Wiley protocol, I think they tend to do the lunar calendar, which is kind of goes with with the sun and the moon. I'm not real good with my astrology stuff, so I just go with the personal calendar. And what that means is, for me, since I had not had since I've not had a period in since 2017 or somewhere around that, I didn't know when my first day is. So my first day is the first day of when I first start taking this rhythmic dose. That would be my day 1. So you've got like the days of the week here. And then I would put in cycle day 1, and then it says estrogen, progesterone. So you put in there, you would put the dose amount for that day. So the pharmacist, I'm on the call with him, and we were on for like an hour and a half. Like, he was amazing and gave me because it's a lot to take in. They give you these little calendars, and this is the estrogen, and then this is the progesterone calendar. Now, when I first started, I forgot about this. When I first started, I started with the estradiol cream, which I've been doing all along. But this time, instead of taking a progesterone capsule, they started me on the cream. Now, I was not real thrilled about the cream because, I'd heard that progesterone cream, really your body doesn't necessarily receive it as well, that it's better taken as a capsule. But that was part of this protocol. And I'm looking at it, and some of these are like 24 clicks. I'm like, 24 clicks? I'm like, that's a lot of hormones. It's like a lot of liquid. Obviously, these come in different types. There's different kind of clickers, that hold the formulation. There's, for this kind of formula, 1 click is like a teeny amount. But anyway, it's a lot, it was a lot to keep up track with. But this gives you a little calendar, and each day it tells you, if it's like summer, like right now, the last 18 days, 18 through 28 of the cycle, I'm on the same dose of 12 twist. I mean, for this to be so long, but I realize that we need to unpack this. So anyway, he gave me all the information on how I was going to be doing this, and then I waited for my hormones to arrive, and I started applying it, and it was kind of a pain because I kept thinking, especially my memory's not like always the best, like did I take it, did I not take it? So I was trying to remember, on here, I almost like wouldn't put it the day before because I was afraid if I wrote it down that I would think that I already did the hormones. So anyway, my calendar is a little bit messy, but it also gives you like all the symptoms that you have so that you can track feeling tired, moody, didn't sleep, hot flashes, or anything. You can track that all along. So after the first few months, first I thought, okay, this is getting a little bit better. And then I realized I was feeling moodier. I wasn't sleeping as well. It was just, I was hanging on and I kept thinking, okay, it's going to get better. And I didn't get a period the first time. I got a little spotting the first time and then nothing. And then the second time, no period. And third, and then I was starting to feel a little bit of the, of the body symptoms, but no period. And then it was annoying me because I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing this whole cycle thing and then I'm not releasing it, which was setting me into this kind of like, not an emotional spin, but just like not feeling great. So I finally reached back out to my hormone doctor and said, look, I still haven't had my period. And I think that was at 5 months. Actually, it was right before 5 months because I was getting ready to have that period. I was like, I'm still not having a period. So we got back on the phone, had another consultation, and she said, you know what, we're gonna take you off the progesterone cream, and we're going to put you back on capsules. You'll be doing a capsule dosage, so you'll have like the same idea, but they'll be in capsule form. So if it's five progesterone that you take that night, or 4, you follow this calendar the same way, which this is my first month doing that. And honestly, I was so much happier. I'm like, why didn't we just do that in the beginning? She said, well, this is kind of the original protocol, but some people work fine with that. I am very happy to be taking with the capsule. Don't let me forget. I got to tell you what else the pharmacist said about this whole protocol. Anyway, she said, the reason you didn't have a period is because I started you lower on your estrogen and your testosterone. I was on like a tiny little nothing testosterone, which I usually run high. Like I function much better with higher testosterone, and I can tell the difference. Anyway, she said, just with the higher estrogen, which I love the estrogen, then it's going to be, you should get your period. If not this month, then certainly next month. And what I've noticed in this past month is definitely I started feeling better. I was sleeping better. I do have to say, during the progesterone peak, because you don't take progesterone the first 13 days of your cycle, and that's a little weird that you get used to that because you're used to taking that progesterone like your sleepy pill. So to not have it during that period of time. And what I have noticed is on the peak days of taking the progesterone, at least this first month, is I feel a little more tired and a little like it's a little bit like I'm hoping that kind of cycles out. But my sleep is, I feel like I'm getting good rest, and my Oura ring says that I am, so for that I'm excited. But having these cramps, like it's like crampy, like I'm feeling that more, but in a good way. But the sleep, like I feel like I'm Rip Van Winkle, like I could just go crash out right now. Final words. So the pharmacist said that really that most of his clients that have switched over from the static dosing to the rhythmic really thrive on it. I mean, there's some that it's too much because, like I said, you have to commit to the calendar, and having chasing that part isn't that fun. But ultimately, that if we get our body in the natural rhythm that it's used to, having the highs and lows, again, that it's healthier, that it provides so many more benefits. But I love the fact that whole the bone density thing was big for me. I think that is, so cool to see that. And he said, because the static doses is just here, but according to him, it has something to do with that rhythmic dosing of all the hormones in harmony that improves the bone density. So I thought, it's interesting. So anyway, if you've got questions, ladies, I know this is not a real normal, it's definitely not, it's like on the fringe, I think, of hormone replacement. But if you've got questions about rhythmic dosing, please drop them below. I'm happy to answer. I'm still kind of early in the journey of the rhythmic dosing, but I am not new to hormone therapy replacement for I have been, again, since 2017, really, since 2014, I have been on a hormone replacement. All right, take care.